Hello, everyone, and welcome inside the studio for another edition of Love Your Spine with Dr. Elizabeth Crumball of Livewell Chiropractic in St. Charles. Doc,
Hello, it's good to be back.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Yes, time for resolutions.
Exactly, and we're coming into a new year here. We've got some product that as you guys can see here, sitting in front of us, and people are always at this time of year. It's that cycle, and I personally have never talked about resolutions that much in myself because I do work to just try and be that person all the time, and I think that's the thing. But if you're struggling and if you're looking for things, if you're feeling, if you've got health issues and problems and whatnot, I don't think people think about chiropractic like that, do they?
No, not typically. Usually what I hear of patients coming in is, the new year, new me, but they're talking about eating different. They're talking about exercising, and they forget about their spinal health. They forget about the fact that if you want to be able to exercise properly, you have to have things lined up so that, one, your body functions the way it's supposed to, and two, when you start exercising, you don't hurt yourself. You don't throw something out. You don't tweak something, right? And people kind of forget that component. And unfortunately, I find that a lot of people fall off of their resolutions because of something pain driven, because they didn't support the spinal health along with these other fantastic changes they're trying to make.
And that's something I think is very interesting when you talk about, and what just my own history and when I thought about chiropractic, and since I've met you and having these conversations, and just the different look at health and wellness and the thought process of a holistic approach to your feeling better as a person, mental health, physical health, and having those things come together.
Right, absolutely. So something that most people don't think about is your physical health significantly affects your mental health. Everybody knows, when I hurt, of course I'm in a bad mood. But what about if you hurt a little bit every single day?
Right.
Wouldn't that put you a little bit in a bad mood every single day? And nobody wants to live every single day in a bad mood. And so something we actually find we call them our progress reports. So as people go through care, there are certain points in time when we check up on things and we say, okay, how are you doing? How are things responding? What do we need to look at and see? And what are our goals going forward? And we always ask them about their mental outlook. And we don't prompt it. We just say, have you noticed any changes to your mental outlook? And at least 9 out of 10 times, the people will write on there better, that it's doing better. And we didn't prompt any of it. But
you're just basically asking a question.
Yeah, we're just seeing how are things going for you.
Right.
And it's amazing that they come in, people come in for pain-related conditions, but they leave at the end of that care plan year with so much better health and wellness that most times people don't actually want to leave the office. Most times people say, before I can even say, let's think about going forward, they say, well, can I keep coming back? I just feel so great. I don't want to stop coming in because I don't want to go back to that. And they're talking about the physical aspect, but they're also talking about the mental aspect.
Mm-hmm. And so and I think one of the things we wanted to talk about, and within this as well, is stress relief.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So when you're talking, I don't care. Every day, everybody faces some sort of stress, whether it be family, work, driving to work. And so there's, as we're going to talk a few minutes about these things, Dr. Liz puts together, as she said, a care plan. It's not just a we adjusted your back and push it. No, it's a care plan. And so all of this that we're looking at here was thought out within this care plan.
Absolutely. So it's really personalized to each individual person. But if you think about it, you have to have the proper building blocks in yourself for things to heal appropriately. And since we're not looking at just getting you out of pain for the next 5 minutes, but it coming back in a week or tomorrow, as sometimes the case may be, we're really looking at that long-term health and wellness goal. It became very apparent that we needed to get something in the office that really gave people those building blocks. Because even when people say, well, yeah, I'm taking a multivitamin from the store, well, do you know what's in that multivitamin?
Right.
Do you know what dosages are in that multivitamin? And the fantastic thing about the line that we carry is it's not just based upon the recommended daily values. So that's what everybody thinks of. But it's actually based upon what we call the functional values. So think of it like this. Perfect example. I have an aunt who, when she had her vitamin D levels taken, because she kept getting like stress fractures of stuff. And we thought, well, what's wrong? She's taking calcium. So she had her vitamin D levels taken. She wasn't even on the charts. She started taking the vitamin D at the store of the recommended daily value, and after several months, she still wasn't even on the charts. Because if you are so low in something and you're only taking what they recommend you have, how can you ever actually raise that up enough to get to what they recommend you have? So what these supplements are based on is fantastic because it's the function, what's what we call functional values. So you'll look on here and, you know, some of them might say like 100%, 125%, 200% of something. I'm looking at one right here. Vitamin B says it's over 2,000% of your daily recommended value. But that is because these are the things that people are so deficient in. We don't get enough of them in our daily life.
I think a great example, if you let me throw this in here, because
Yeah.
it just struck me when you were talking about this. Many of us know computers in this respect, and you're going to the store and it says recommended
Yep.
memory, recommended this, recommended. Because when it's recommended, it's not the minimum, but it will do enough.
Right.
But it's not necessarily if you understanding at the optimum level.
Right. Yeah, it's enough to make it kind of function.
Right.
But if you want it to function well, if you want it to do something specific, you're
Right.
going to have to upgrade the computer in that instance. It's the same thing with your body. If you want your body to do more than just breathe and process the food that you eat, you have to put more into it than these recommended daily values. And it might sound scary to say, oh my goodness, I'm taking over 100% of what's recommended. But when you think about it, like with my aunt, she would have never, like she's taking 5 times what the recommended daily values are.
Wow.
And her levels are just now starting to get where they need to be. Is everybody like my aunt? No. But are most people in this area of the St. Louis, St. Charles area, are they deficient in vitamin D? Yes, absolutely. That is a proven fact. You can look it up anywhere online. Most people in the United States, actually, but especially in this part of Missouri, are deficient in vitamin D. So even if you're taking the recommended values of vitamin D, I'm willing to say that you probably still do not have the levels that you need to have.
I would guarantee I don't. And this is good information. I want to find out because I don't take vitamin D. And, you know, I want to go backwards here a moment to one of Dr. Liz's points about the multivitamin.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was taking a multivitamin one time. It was a pretty well-known brand.
Yeah.
It wasn't in a capsule form. It was in the hard form.
Yep.
I wanted to see what would happen because I'd heard about do things dissolve the right way in your body and whatnot. Are you getting the most out of your multivitamin? I dropped that dude in a glass of water and just let it go. I came back the next day and it was still not dissolved.
Right.
And it was still hard. I could not break it up. And even when I did get finally some of it broke up, it still wasn't dissolving. So that right there told me that what they're talking about with some of these multivitamins, it was my own experiment.
Yep.
It was easy to do. Maybe the acids in your stomach are a little better than the water.
Yeah.
But still,
Right.
it's still a practical application of that, wouldn't
Yeah,
you say?
exactly. And what a lot of people don't think about is like you're saying, oh, well, the acid would break it down more. It's not just about getting it broken down, it's about the absorbency
There you
into
go.
your body. And so there are a lot of supplements out there that are cheap because the type of material they use to make it does not absorb super well. And so it's cheaper to make it, but and this again goes to those recommended versus functional.
Right.
If you're taking the recommended daily value of something, but you can only absorb 25% of what is in that, but in that is what the recommended daily value is, you're not even getting close to what that value is. And that's what I love about these different brands that I have up here is they go through all of this testing. They make sure they're using the best at this point in time that we know of, the best ingredients that absorb the way that they're supposed to. And so you're getting a double bang for your buck because you're getting higher than the recommended values. So you make sure that you're actually bumping up your numbers to what they need to be. But then you're also getting it to where it absorbs properly. So you're actually getting what you pay for.
That's an awesome point. And I know, and as Dr. Liz was saying that, I'm thinking to myself, that's the biggest point. Regardless, is it getting into your system the way it needs to?
Exactly. I don't care if it breaks down the way it's supposed to. If none of it absorbs into your system, it doesn't do you any good. You might as well just be buying the bottle and flushing it down the toilet.
And we don't want to do that because that's just
No.
a waste of money.
Exactly. And that's why we have the specific brands that we do. They're more clinical type levels of everything. You can't just as a person off the street just buy it offline for most of these. And if you do, it'll say, well, you need to talk to your healthcare provider about how often you need to take it and what you need to take together. For example, most people in my office will start with this wellness pack. It's a 2-in-1. It's the multivitamin that we kind of were just talking about a little bit, but it's also a nerve, bone, and soft tissue support, which people don't think about. But again, if you want to have proper spinal health, you want to have a proper functioning nervous system, doesn't it make sense that you have to take care of that? If you want good heart health, don't you have to do things and take things and make sure you eat the right things to take care of your heart?
Right.
Yes. It's the same about your bones. It's the same about your nerves. It's the same about your soft tissues. And people just don't think about it. So we start most people on that in the office just as a good building block. And I say, let's see how this works over a certain period of time, and then we'll reevaluate. If we need to change something up, then we will. But if you're not already coming in telling me, well, I'm doing this, this is probably going to be my recommendation because it's in your best interest. It's what I do for my own household. It's what I do for my own family. I'm not going to do something I don't do for my own family. We also, a lot of times, given this day and age, will recommend that we do this detox pack. It's for both men and women for at least a bit of time. Think about all of the toxins that we're around every single day. Do you walk outside? Do you breathe the air that the cars are driving in?
Right.
Do you have filtered water or do you drink tap water? And if you have filtered water, how good is your filter? When is the last time you changed it? These are things that we don't think about. And if you try and control every single aspect of this, you're probably going to drive yourself nuts. So the fantastic thing about this detox pack is it's actually a little bit of a detox every single day. Because a lot of times, otherwise, what we end up doing is we end up doing like a 7-day, 14-day, 21-day cleanse, something like that. And you start out feeling great. And by about a couple days in, you feel like crap. And by a couple days after that, you kind of just want to die sometimes, speaking from personal experience.
Because you're right back to
Because
the other,
you're
right?
right back to where you started. And so it's like, why did I suffer through all of that? Why did I just eat
Drinking
grass
chlorophyll?
or something? Yes.
Yeah.
For like only and not do any of these other things because it's really hard on your system to do that. And it's so hard on your system that a lot of times it doesn't get you all of the results that you're hoping for. You probably feel better for a little bit, but you're probably finding that you're going to have to do the same thing a little bit later. Fantastic thing about this is you don't have those side effects. It's a little bit of a detox every single day. And it's really good talking right now at the beginning of the year because we can start that year kind of fresh. Everybody wants to get
There it
2020
is.
off of them, right?
Yeah.
Nobody wants to have anything to do with 2020.
Amen to that.
Right. And so doesn't it make sense to get all those toxins and everything out of our systems at the same time? And nobody wants to start the year off feeling yucky. So let's do it a little bit at a time. That's what I tell people. And it comes in two different things. There's a master detoxifier in it, does what I was just talking about. But the fantastic part, and this is what you're probably not getting with some of those 7-day cleanses, is it has another one that's a capture and release. It has certain ingredients in it, one of them being activated charcoal, where the master detoxifier is getting everything out of your system, but instead of leaving it to chance to actually exit, the capture and release comes in, grabs it, and pushes it out.
Wow.
Yeah, this is why I'm so passionate about these different things. Are we going to talk about dietary changes? Very possibly, we might. Are we going to talk about what are your goals to get you up and moving more?
Right.
Absolutely, we are. But we need to make sure that we're also supporting the other aspects.
You can't just go, that's it. That's the answer.
No.
Because it isn't, is it?
No, you walk in my office and you say, well, I want the best health possible, so I'm going to take this multivitamin and this detox pack. And I will look at you and say, we need to have a whole nother conversation here. A patient comes to mind, he's been doing phenomenal. And he came in and he said, I need to make a life change. He was over 400 pounds, real close to that 445 mark. And he was like, I need to get my life together. I need to start working out by walking. He's like, I don't have the energy to walk and move. Yeah. I don't feel good like I can walk and move. He was even having trouble with like his balance. And so we said, okay, this is what we're going to do. We put him on some of these different supplements to support his heart, to detox some of these toxins out, to make sure that he is supporting his soft tissues as he gets walking and exercising that he hasn't done before. Obviously, we're getting him adjusted so that things get all lined up. And a lot of people don't know that the adjustments actually also help with the balance. And so it's a 2-in-1 for that. And about a month in, I said, okay, let's check and see how things are going. So we checked and saw how things were going. And objectively, so that means like the pictures that I look at, the exams that I look at, everything was looking really great. But you want to know the best part? He had already lost 17 pounds in that month. That's because awesome. He was supporting himself, he was supporting his tissues, he was getting adjusted, and he was able to go out and walk.
Goals.
Absolutely.
Goals. I love hearing that stuff. And that's a great, that's what is called a Live Well success story.
Absolutely.
And it's going to continue. But he's committed to it, isn't he, Doc?
Oh, 100%.
There you go.
He doesn't just come in and say, well, I can't make it to this appointment, so I guess I'll just try it out. No, this is just like with diet and exercise.
Sure.
You can't do it Monday, ignore it Tuesday through Sunday, and expect to see the results that you're wanting. This is about your health and it's about your wellness. And if you don't care what your health and wellness looks like in the next 10 years, we're probably not the office for you. But I care about what your health and wellness looks like in the next 10 years. I care about what the health and wellness of this community looks like in the next 10 years. I care about the community that my children are going to grow up in and about the school systems that they're going to be in and what is the health of their teachers going to be like? What is the health of their classmates going to be like? And that is why I am so passionate about taking care of the community at hand. Because it's not just about making people feel better. It's about improving the whole area, one person at a time.
I got nothing. That's awesome. I love that, Doc. That was perfect. Thank you. Everybody remember, look, if you want to know more about Live Well Chiropractic in St. Charles, Missouri, go to the website, livewellstcharles.com. You can subscribe to Dr. Liz's e-newsletter, Love Your Spine. There's a lot of great information there. Check it out. If you're looking to make a life change, come see Dr. Liz. And always remember to
love your spine.
There you go. And we will see you next time.